Good evening. This week is a double parsha, Behar-Bechukotai, to end the book of Vayikra. And as we know, there's a novel mitzvah that we have with speech called Lashon Hara. And that is an amazing concept that many people are amazed by, because in the society that we live in, if you catch somebody doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, you take a picture of it, you put it in the paper, and you can win a Pulitzer Prize for it. And we say, well, really, that's Lashon Hara, that's bad speech, that's gossip, and that's forbidden actually in Judaism. And it's an amazing thing that people find fascinating, and we try to work on very much in Judaism. However, there's another mitzvah that's in this week's Parsha, chapter 25, verse 17, about speech that is often overlooked, but is extremely important. V'lo sonu ish es amiso. Do not hurt another person with words. Don't say mean things to people, hurtful things. It's one of the 613 mitzvahs. It's in this week's Parsha. It's a very big mitzvah of not using harmful words. And it's very hard in the society that we live in right now. We see a lot of harmful words of people speaking to each other, whether it's in high leadership or just in circles near us. The words that people say to each other are very harmful, and we know that it has a negative effect on children especially, and even us. Everybody, when you speak harmful words, it has such a terrible effect. And when you say a good word, though, the message is obviously that you get so much reward and you do so much for people. You can build a person just by a nice word. And I want to speak for one instance on a nice word that happened. As we know, there was the tragedy in Meron in the north of Israel on Lag BaOmer, where there's a terrible tragedy that occurred with bleachers being falling down, and children and young adults and even some older being trampled one upon another, and 45 people died. And it was a horrible tragedy that in Israel today they're still mourning, and that is the big thing on the news now. Here in the diaspora, we're not focusing on it as much, but we need to understand that we're all part and parcel with our Jewish brothers in Israel. And a story came out with actually a family I know, the Koltais. The Koltais live in a place called Har Nof, Israel, a wonderful, chesedic, loving and giving family. And they lost tragically a 13-year-old child, Azi. And it was amazing, because at the Shiva, which just happened, the mailman came in, and others, I believe, like the mailman, other municipal workers came in, and the mailman sat, and the mailman was crying at the Shiva, and the parents finally had to ask the mailman, like, okay, you're the mailman, we don't have much to do with you. Why are you here, and why are you crying? And he said, I lost Azi. Azi, your 13-year-old son, always came and asked me how he was doing and would engage me in conversation. And it was so lovely talking to him. And I always loved when I got to your apartment complex and I had the pleasure of speaking to Azi. He was such a mensch, and he was so nice, and he always asked all about me. Words go such a long way. And that's a message in this week's Parsha, that onas tavarim, in as much as it's a forbidden act to say harmful words, which we need to stay far away from, we also need to remember the power of positive words and how much effect they can have something. Should be Le'iloi Nishmas Azi Koltai, he should have a blessed memory. And we wish the family and all the families of the that have lost people in the tragedy in Meron a comfort, and that know that we, your brothers and sisters here in America, are with you.